In today's video, we are going to be talking about metabolic flexibility, what it is, and how you can increase it to burn more fat. Metabolic flexibility is the ability to switch between burning carbs and fat seamlessly. This means that if you don't eat for several hours, your energy won't crash because your body is able to tap into your fat stores. And on the flip side, this also means that your body is able to optimize the use of carbs for certain situations, such as before a hard workout. The problem is that a large portion of the population is metabolically inflexible. You will know that you are metabolically inflexible if you need to snack throughout the day to maintain your energy, you can't go more than 5 hours without eating, you get hangry when you're hungry, and you feel sleepy after eating a big meal. If you can relate to any of these symptoms, then unfortunately, your metabolic flexibility is poor. But don't worry if this is you, because you're in the right place. In this video, not only are we going to dive deeper into what it means to be metabolically flexible and the positive health outcomes, but we will also be talking about what you can do to increase your metabolic flexibility. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kate. I'm a health coach and I post videos on a high-fat, nutrient-dense way of eating. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, feel free to share, and make sure to subscribe. And make sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, where I share new posts every single day. We're going to start off today talking about the different fuel sources our body can use and why some are better in certain situations than others. Then we will get into the benefits of being metabolically flexible, and we will finish off with some tips on how you can increase your metabolic flexibility. Glucose versus fat. As humans, we have the ability to use two fuel sources. Without making things too complicated, the two main ones we're going to talk about today are glucose and fat. Glucose is the main type of sugar in the blood, and it is a source of energy for our cells. When we eat foods that contain carbohydrates, those carbohydrates are broken down into glucose and enter our bloodstream. And this applies for both simple and complex carbohydrates. Both are broken down into glucose or sugar. However, the rate at which they are broken down may differ. The glucose is then moved from the bloodstream to our cells to be used for energy. But food isn't the only way our bodies can obtain glucose. Our bodies can also make it through a process known as gluconeogenesis. By breaking down other compounds such as lactate and amino acids, our body can make enough glucose for our needs. If you have ever worn a continuous glucose monitor or even just tested your blood sugar before and after an intense workout, you might have been surprised to see your blood sugar rise despite you not eating anything in that time frame. And this is gluconeogenesis at work. Your body needed glucose to fuel your workout, so it made it. The second main fuel source our body can operate on is fat. This is both dietary and stored body fat. Now, the use of fat for energy happens through a completely different pathway in the body than that of glucose. When we eat foods that contain fat, the fat is broken down into fatty acids. It enters the bloodstream and can be used for energy by our cells. The main difference here is that fat takes longer to break down and process than carbs do. So this means you will not experience an immediate burst of energy as you would if you ate a simple carbohydrate food, for example. But instead, the energy is longer lasting and consistent. Because carbs are a faster energy source, your body will always use them first in the presence of both carbohydrates and fat. But this doesn't necessarily mean that they are the best option. For certain situations, yes, such as fueling an intense workout when you want the energy burst to be immediate. But for day-to-day life, for anyone trying to lose weight, and for the everyday exerciser, fat is a better source of energy. Yes, carbohydrates provide quick energy, but it is also shorter-lived. Metabolic inflexibility. As I said at the start of this video, you will know you are metabolically inflexible if you need to snack throughout the day to maintain your energy, you can't go more than 5 hours without eating, you get hangry when you're hungry, and you feel sleepy after eating a big meal. And let me know in the comment section down below how many of these symptoms you are currently experiencing. Basically, what is happening is that your body has become so reliant on using carbs for energy, it has lost the ability to burn fat efficiently. So when there is no excess glucose in the bloodstream, or if your cells have lost the ability to use that glucose, which we'll talk about more in a second, This is when you get those side effects listed above. You will have an energy crash, you might get a headache, you'll have trouble focusing, and you won't be able to feel better again until you eat. Metabolic inflexibility is linked to insulin resistance, also known as metabolic syndrome, and this makes a lot of sense. This means that they are not responding to insulin and not using glucose for energy in the way that they should. And this leads to many of the symptoms that people who are metabolically inflexible experience. For example, you might have just finished a meal and still be hungry, or be craving dessert. This is because your cells are not able to use blood sugar efficiently, so there is adequate energy present, but your cells cannot access it. And on top of that, you are not able to use stored body fat for energy because when blood sugar is high, insulin is high, and insulin stops fat burning. So by now, you might be starting to understand the problem with relying on only glucose for energy. But now let's get into some of the benefits of being metabolically flexible and why it is something you should strive for. The benefits of metabolic flexibility. It aids in fat loss, it helps you maintain your fat loss, it lowers your fasting blood sugar, it allows you to have consistent energy throughout the day, it improves your insulin sensitivity and reverses insulin resistance, and it reduces your risk of developing type 2 diabetes, heart disease, Alzheimer's, and more. And finally, let's get into how you can increase your metabolic flexibility. Number 1, shorten your feeding window. What do I mean by this? Our bodies are always in one of two states, a fed state or a fasted state. After we eat, we are in a fed state. Fat burning is on hold and fat storing goes up. Once our body has completely digested and processed our last meal, we are in a fasted state and our body goes into fat burning mode instead. If you are eating every couple of hours from the moment you wake up until when you go to bed, you are always going to be in a fed state and never a fasted state. And you will be using mainly glucose for energy, which is what leads to metabolic inflexibility in the first place. The more time you can spend in a fasted state, the more your body will adjust to burning fat for energy, and the more metabolically flexible you will become. Now, this is also known as intermittent fasting, but I promise you it doesn't have to be as intense as some people make it out to be. Let's say you wake up at 6 a.m., you have breakfast almost immediately, and you continue eating and snacking throughout the day right up until you go to bed at 10 p.m. Your feeding window is from 6 a.m. until 10 p.m., which is 16 hours you are spending in a fed state and only 8 hours in a fasted one. You want to shorten your feeding window and extend your fasting window. So that could be not having breakfast until 8 or 9, or eating dinner at 6 p.m. and not eating after that. If you can get your feeding window down to between 8 to 12 hours, that will yield significant results for your metabolic flexibility. And it doesn't have to be a drastic change all at once. You can start by cutting your feeding window down by an hour or two and cutting it down more from there. Number 2, stop snacking. This one ties in with the last tip. You want to stop snacking in between meals. Snacking is just about the worst thing you can do for metabolic flexibility. Every time you eat, blood sugar goes up, insulin goes up, and you'll be in a fed state. Now, if you continue to eat every couple of hours, blood sugar and insulin do not have a chance to come back down to baseline. So you will be constantly burning glucose throughout the day and never burning fat. Eat 2 to 3 big meals throughout the day and don't snack in between. Number 3 is low intensity exercise. When we do low intensity aerobic exercise, our bodies use mainly fat for energy. This means walking, jogging, swimming, or cycling. Doing these exercises at a low intensity is key here, especially when you are first starting out. This will restore your body's ability to burn fat. Number 4, eat a low carb diet. This is so effective because remember, it is carbohydrates that are broken down into glucose. When carbs in the diet are low, your body is burning mainly fat for energy. By reducing carbs and focusing your meals around protein and fat, your body will be quickly forced to adapt to using fat for energy. And the longer you eat a low carb diet, the easier it will be for your body to switch between burning fat and glucose for energy when it needs to. Anyways, guys, that's all I have for you today. Let me know in the comment section down below if you are able to increase your metabolic flexibility and the benefits you experienced. And if you did enjoy this video, please remember to like and subscribe if you're not already, and feel free to share this video with someone who you think would find it helpful. And if you did find this video helpful, you might also like my video on signs and symptoms of PCOS, which you can check out here. If you want to catch up on my most recent upload, you can find it right here. And if you want to check out my keto diet and carnivore diet coaching programs, you can click here. Thanks again, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.